A man of our time moves homeward toward Petit Jean Mountain in Arkansas, near where the Indians and the French had long ago tried out their own styles of excellence. Now it was his turn, and their ancient mountain would be his home. The land held a promise of serenity and peacefulness, and a timeless brooding quality that told of each generation's duty and purpose. This place he called Winrock had been dry and dusty when he moved here from New York in 1953. These things he could take care of, but what could be done to show others the practical value in adopting a concern for excellence? What could be done to fulfill his own sense of duty and purpose? He would start by building a home. Let my house hug the mountain with genuine elegance as though the earth spawned it, he said. Let my farm be a model for others in all ways except perhaps in size. "1970 marked his 17th year as a resident of Arkansas, and by then a lot of people had looked past the legend to really know the man. Some had stopped asking why he had moved from New York to Arkansas. They said most people relocate to change their way of living and to take on some new assignments. These could have been his reasons. They could believe their eyes when they saw a Rockefeller strolling around in coveralls. They knew he could really use the tools he sometimes carried. They agreed with the reporter who had written, "Winthrop Rockefeller is a man on a mission of finding some standards of excellence. His Winrock farms hold up a mirror of achievement for others to find some inspiration. If this man from New York moved south without any dream of helping others, then something must have changed him. Perhaps it was the scenery. It's happened before." Soon after he moved to Petit Jean, he learned its legend. A young French girl died here tragically after a life of great adversity. Win Rockefeller soon found that his own life on the mountain would be filled with plenty of grim realities. The first being the need for water. He built a series of 6 lakes to collect the rainfall. But as insurance, he went down an 800-foot cliff to reach a reserve supply. He could have sidestepped the problem by building his home in the valley, but that would have meant defeat for his own purpose, to inspire others to find their own styles of excellence. Rockwin, down in the valley below the mountain. Rockwin here, and Carlisle down Highway 154 and Interstate 40. And Sulphur in Oklahoma. The 3 new divisions soon put the plural S on Winrock farms. At Rockwin, the acres of sorghum and the pastures for cattle. Rice and sorghum, soybeans and oats at Carlisle. Hereford cattle at Sulphur in Oklahoma. Santa Gertrudis cattle at Carlisle and Rockwin and Winrock. At 4 farms now, Winrock's men continued the search for new and better ways of farming. Some experiments were technical and book-learned. These were shared with farmers less able to afford laboratories. But most of the ways were earthy and plainly practical, available to anyone with imagination. Rockwin to Winrock. On the anniversary marking his 10th summer in Arkansas, Win Rockefeller wrote a letter to a friend. It was a time for summing up, and he felt he had something new to say. Winrock has become something else besides a farm, he said. It has become a center for people to bring all manner of problems. Their themes vary, but their purpose is usually the same: to improve mankind's quality of living. They say we entrap them in a web of hospitality starting at the front door. I hope you can appreciate the paradox of private property being put to such public use. I know I can and do. Over 150 times a year, Winrock is put to such public use, with conferences, club meetings and conventions, seminars and symposiums. And on a Saturday every August, a special event, the Governor's Youth Day.
Thanks a lot.
On this Youth Day, 10,000 youngsters from across Arkansas have come to Winrock. They gather near the boathouse by Lake Abbey to greet the governor and a special friend he has invited.
I just hope that the person that I thought you came to see today got a little reaction to the nice warm hand that you gave your governor. Now, if there's any doubt in anybody's mind who will take over these microphones, it's my dear friend, a friend of many years, Bob Hope.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Governor. I want to tell you, this is a very refreshing change of pace for me. Just to be here, up here at, where's this go, Hot Springs? All I want to tell you is that I couldn't think of a nicer place to stop and say hello, and I'm so happy that you're a governor, and my dear friend invited me to this place. I've known him many, many years. I knew him when he was in the service. And he was in there before, you know, in World War II. I know you all read about it in the papers. And I'm so thrilled that he would invite me here. And it's just a great pleasure to visit this place and visit Arkansas once again. And it's great to have, you know, your governor up here in this fresh air. It gives you a feel of what we stand for, you know, to invite everybody up here into this beautiful scene. And we were talking about it. It's about, I guess, one of the few countries that still have compassion, you know. The kids of today, there may be a gap, but just beyond that gap, the kids inherit this country. They're the ones that are going to take over. That's why it's nice to listen to, because later you're going to listen to them anyway. And it's great to look at you and see the way you look. Look how you look. Why don't you go swimming? No, you really look wonderful, and I can't say enough about you, and I just want to thank the governor and you for being so nice. Thank you.
Although 10,000 could gather by the boathouse and there was a new hall for 500 in the show barn, sometimes the conference called for shirt sleeves on the lawn.
The thing that concerns me, and I'm sure is partly in what Angel's thinking, is as to what are the priorities that you're going to be coming up with next.
The name of the game Win Rockefeller had spelled out for himself was to listen closely, absorb the details, make his own decisions, and speak his own mind.
And then this is the whole valley here. It's too bad it's so misty.
Jeanette Rockefeller's guest from Iran had seen the web of hospitality, and she would go home with stories to tell about Arkansas. She was followed that morning by 3 from Denmark, Norway, and New York, and 2 each from Memphis and Shreveport. Some of the guests from far away had never heard the Arkansas traveler jokes. They would take back a different idea about Arkansas and the natural grandeur.
A place like this is very appropriate to use so much rock.
Yes, that's all.
One guest said, the mountain with its shadows on a sea of blue-green was like the prow of a huge ocean-going liner.
I think maybe it's
Winrock could solve some problems and present a better way, but for years Arkansas had been near the bottom of every index of progress. Could Winrock encourage enough people to demand a change? Could the people on the mountain find ways to lift up the human spirit? Could Winrock inspire as well as instruct? Could a silver bull on the hood of a car and silver bowls at Winrock's house convey any message at all that the American dream is still worth desiring? Winthrop Rockefeller's office is the storehouse of the past and the present. It suggests who he is, where he came from, his purpose and his mission. He had been, over the years, an oil field roustabout, a builder, a businessman, a soldier. He had assigned for himself some duties in Arkansas. But if his job had required an employment application, he could have said, born in New York, educated in Connecticut, trained in the Texas oil fields and the war zones of the South Pacific. His father taught him a business-like concern for straight facts and to trust in people. From his mother, he learned to do justly and have faith in the future. Win Rockefeller started farming as a greenhorn from the East, but his fellow workers were to say he learned the health and progress of every calf and tree. He was a man who did his own homework, put in late hours, checked facts, and made his own notes and decisions. A new breed of cattle from Texas provided a challenge he would accept. The familiar rhythms of spring and summer had resulted finally in a harvest that graced the land. From every corner of Arkansas, people moved toward Little Rock and the state fair. Winrock's men were down in the cattle yards early that morning. Later in the day, Winrock's cattle would be exhibited at the fair, an important step leading up to the annual production sale on Petit Jean Mountain. The men knew that Winrock's cattle would have a lot going for them today. For starters, Winrock's philosophy and tradition of excellence. The old hands could remember the early days when they laid out the pastures and built the fences. Some could recall the exact moment when Mr. R paid $31,000 plus for Rock, the farm's first herd bull. Any one of them could tell you why Winrock has a full-time veterinarian and why they keep the tedious and meticulous records they do. It's knowing what we need to know that enables us to develop fine cattle, he could say. It's keeping tabs on each member's heritage, weight performance, color and conformation, health and temperament, everything except a bull's IQ. And they all could speak about the Santa Gertrudis. The big cherry reds are America's first distinct breed of cattle, they could say. Let's make America proud of them. No one had to say these things. Each man knew Winrock had inspired farmers to go home and try out some of the practical values. They knew the microscopes at Winrock are for health and fertility among the herds. They knew Win Rockefeller wanted his farms to be an inspiration, and the livestock show or the annual production sale were proofs of excellence. They knew he wanted his farm to be a farm and not a ranch. The word farming and the idea meant to him a gentle treatment of livestock. They felt sure that the offspring of Rock would be making their name among American cattle for a long time. They knew the big reds would thrive anywhere, from the deserts of Arizona to the tundra of Alaska to the jungles of the Amazon. The fair today would be an important step forward. The men and women at Winrock's house had their own days when it seemed like the whole world, or at least large segments of it, would soon be looking in on the farm's philosophy of excellence. Chef Ben Mitchell had his own crisis to face. 500 were due for dinner under a tent. He had 400 pounds of beef to broil, 1,000 hot rolls to bake, and 2,000 canapes to prepare. He wondered how many people ever make a real connection between cattle on the hoof and dressed beef on a plate. He knew that a man's own dinner always begins in some other place. It can often start in a feedlot. An editor of a farm magazine once made the connection between Winrock's cattle eating their own dinner and mankind's problems of producing enough food to eat. The Santa Gertrudis cattle provide some answers, he wrote. They are the direct result of men in Texas and Arkansas consciously experimenting for more economic meat to eat. The male forebearers of the Santa Gertrudis are the rangy, poorly proportioned, but heat-tolerant Brahman from India, and the meat-rich, chunky Shorthorn from England. The two have resulted in a breed that combines old advantages without the disadvantages. Winrock to Carlisle, down Highway 154 and Interstate 40, past Conway, Little Rock, Lone Oak. 9,000 acres in soybeans at Carlisle. Soybeans for feed, for oil, grit, flour, and ground meal. Soybean milk for hungry children in Korea, and the Winrock philosophy of high-grade beef brought economically to the consumer's table. Still, the experiments go on and on. At Carlisle, 5,000 acres in rice. In Arkansas and Oklahoma, 4 Winrock divisions in all, some 39,000 acres dedicated to new ideas and ideals of farming. Helping out in the study programs at the University of Arkansas, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma State. Showing new ways to 150,000 visitors annually. Leading the way with sprinkler irrigation, with fences made of used oil field pipe. Showing them how with the cattle and the pastures and fast-growing coastal Bermuda grass. Showing every farmer some ways he can afford to try out. a new type of farming in the Southland, newer than King Cotton, reaping the bountiful harvest in a race against world famine. A new type of farming in the Southland. On the day of the production sale, the crossbred brothers and sisters would be left behind in their own pastures. But still they provide living proof that there can be better ways of farming. Crossbreeding results in a compensation among cattle. A herd thin in the meat-rich hindquarters will usually gain weight in exactly the right places, on the same amount of food or maybe less. Crossbreeding produces desirable traits and thins out the undesirable. One Santa Gertrudis can change an entire herd for the better. Carlisle to Sulphur, Oklahoma, home of the Winrock A line of Herefords, descendants of the all-time famed HDR Real Onward 166. Mankind's cattle in his history long ago changed his ideas of where he could live and what he could do. Herdsmen followed their once wild cattle across continents to grasslands, fought the wars along the way, and learned new values. 12,000 years before our American West, Stone Age men fought and lost to herdsmen who brought cattle and the energy. When the herdsmen learned to grow feed for their cattle, they settled down in villages and became the forebears to our own family-oriented culture. Sulphur to Pettigene. Winrock's men have gathered the cattle for the state fair. These Santa Gertrudis will soon have their first moment of truth. Later, at the annual production sale, there will be another. Compared to the Herefords at Sulphur, or their Brahmin forebears who've been around for 6,000 years, the Santa Gertrudis are only 50 years old as a breed, but already they've made their impact among men. Coming after many long months of calloused hands and thoughtful attention to duty, the livestock show at Barton Coliseum suggests, as state fairs always have, a passage of time and possibly some achievement since last year. Over the years, the Winrock entries at Little Rock and other livestock shows have won enough ribbons and trophies to fill the long walls with showcases at the reception center on Pettigene Mountain. Thousands of people visit the center and see the awards. Some go away with a resolution to improve their own quality of farming or living, which is still what Winrock is all about.
If I were a carpenter and you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby? If a tinker were my trade, would you still love me? Carrying the pots I made, following behind me.
Before or after a session of serious discussion, the life at Winrock will often include a moment of relaxation on the lawn. Some who come together are old friends renewing their friendships. Others are new people making friends.
I've given you my loneliness. Come and give me your tomorrow.
The Rockefellers often include among the annual 20,000 invited guests many young people, as many as 10,000 boys and girls in a single day, up on the mountain from every corner of the state for a picnic and sightseeing.
I'd put you above me.
The background of Winrock's friends ranges all the way from cattlemen to ambassadors. But the favorites are those whose qualification is a genuine concern for helping other people. Concern for people will open a door at Winrock almost as surely as a pass key. Near their home, Win Rockefeller placed a bronze plaque on a stone for all to read and take inspiration. It quoted an ideal from the book of Micah. "And what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God?" Winrock can, on occasion, outgrow the capacity of its buildings. Dinner and discussion tonight will be held under a tent on the patio. Win Rockefeller learned over the years that he could stir people and make things happen. As the chairman of a new industrial development commission, he had helped bring 600 new industries to Arkansas. In dozens of small towns, people were learning the truth, that courage and faith in the future start with a regular paycheck. When politics made it impossible for him to continue as the leader of the commission, he resigned and filed for the office of governor. His message was the same as ever. Let's clear the way for some more excellence in our living.
And are we going to have the same moral indignation when I can show you the kind of things that I'm going to be able to show you that has been done, but I'm not going to be able to do it unless the people, when we put the facts on the table, are going to be indignant. And I mean it. You've got to be indignant. I think we've got to view things that are happening, and when the press or the opposition comes out and says this man is power crazy, I'm not power crazy. But by crikey, if I can do something to correct some of these things and I can get people as mad and excited as I am, then I feel that my late mother and father would be proud of me.
In 1967, he was sworn in as a new kind of governor for Arkansas. He saw in his role as governor the chance to extend Winrock's philosophy of excellence. His inaugural address echoed words straight from Petty Jean. I ask you to join me in a far-reaching quest for quality, he said. It's time for a change in Arkansas. Let's get Arkansas up from the bottom, all the way up. Halfway is not good enough.
He is part and parcel of the old machine group, and they feel that they are not getting a fair hearing. It's just as simple as that.
He lost no time in opening the doors of state government. Let the people have the facts, he said. Sweep out the falsehood and ugliness. The conduct of government has to be above suspicion so that it can inspire excellence in people. It was a theme he would return to again and again.
Support in the courthouse, and maybe not even Democrats for Rockefeller. And so in this particular situation, if you're a Republican, then you're discriminated against. This is a different experience than I think most people in Arkansas have had. And in the appointment of these district supervisors in the welfare, the law requires...
Frequent press conferences were one of his ways of bringing the people's business to the people, but only one of the ways. Before he became governor, he had toured Arkansas asking for votes. His issues were jobs, schools, roads, clean government. But he had brought also a more general appeal. Opportunity, he had said, means more than a one-way ticket to another state. He would stop at the crossroads to tell 300 or 300 that Arkansas and the Southland can have a better quality of living. Have faith in the possibility of progress, he had said, and we shall move ahead. When the people saw fit to make him their governor, he rolled out his traveling office to go calling on them, to find out the people's needs and be personally accountable for his campaign promises. Within his first 24 months in office, he traveled thousands of miles and had listened to more than 23,000 Arkansans. The door's always open, he had said. Come inside and sit down. Let's talk a while. Maybe we can learn from each other. It's worth a try. What's your problem? On a calendar in a Winrock barn, the second Saturday in May is encircled in red, for this is indeed a red-letter day for people and cattle. No time today for problem solving that doesn't involve cattle. In most years, Winrock Farm is visited by 150,000 people. More than 6,000 will make the drive up Petty Jean Mountain today. Some will bid thousands for a single bull, maybe as much as $30 a pound if it was measured that way. Others will come in pickup trucks and will return on some other day to buy cattle they can afford. They will take to their own herds the sturdy brothers of prize bulls, the ones who never quite made it to the show ring. In 1961, a Winrock Santa Gertrudis bull set a national record of $59,000. Winrock's average is just under $4,000. Today, 40 Santa Gertrudis will be sold by auction. But statistics say at least 95% of Winrock sales are made in private agreements, in what most cattlemen call private treaty. Buyers say they trust Winrock's integrity. They can ask for and expect to get the straight facts as honestly and plainly as the computer can tell it. What's the reproduction performance of bull number 326? The computer will check the history and tell you. There will be 2,000 people inside the sale tent today. The bidding is always intense and often unobserved, but the knowing can watch for the subtle signal and try to guess a man's frame of mind. Every sale will involve some losers and a winner. One of the governor's favorite guests at Winrock is his nephew, J. Rockefeller, an emerging public leader from West Virginia.
And now, in the year 1969, the Arkansas River will be navigable all the way to Fort Smith, and in 1970 to Tulsa. And we've had some of the durable goods industries that have already built their plants here in anticipation of the use of the river.
They will have the chance to talk more later. The people are arriving. Of all the assignments he gave himself, none was rated more important than the future of the young people. He would find out firsthand how they were doing, what their schools needed. And the children had learned he would deliver on his promises.
Glad to have you here today.
I'm glad you're our governor.
Well, I'm glad you're glad. Good.
Whenever he held a public gathering at Winrock, he could be sure of one thing. A flock of young visitors would be on hand to greet him. He would set down his name in as careful a manner as on any of the official papers he had signed, to build schools, to provide scholarships and textbooks. Except for the hemlines, the crowds have looked the same each year since 1958. The same auctioneer from College Station, Texas.
I think it was Governor Rockefeller's ambition when he came upon this mountain to build this herd of cattle so that the offspring from the cattle produced here would be the kind of cattle that could go out and improve the quality of the commercial cattle in the country. And I think if you'd analyze the pedigrees of the cattle here today, you would find there'd be something like 250 years of scientific San Gertrudis breeding that went into this herd of cattle. And consequently, they can present you an offering of cattle that is second to none.
As an erosion remnant, the mountain itself had resisted time. It was hoped that the values of a rural auction might in some measure endure.
Thank you very much indeed, Walter. I think one of the reasons that we had success was because we had so many fine associates working with us. But the fact that things are moving along today so well, and the fact that you all were nice enough to come in spite of the weather, is a compliment, I think, to our associates, and I'm not going to take the time to name all of them, because all of you know G.W. and Doug Barry, but there are so many other people here that have made your day, I hope, a happy day. I want to say thank you to them. And I know Jeanette shares with me in saying thank you to those who prepared the lunch and have been part of trying to make your day a pleasant day. Now, you came here not to listen to me talk, You came here to see cattle, and I hope some of you came to buy cattle. Thanks a lot for being here.
Winthrop Rockefeller once said, "I have had moments of intense pleasure and pride when perfect strangers left Winrock with Santa Gertrudis for their own herds. I had learned when a boy in New York that I would always have some special responsibility in helping others help themselves. I hope in Arkansas I have in some measure lived up to my duty and purpose."
We're going to open on the lot number 1 bull, a son of the great Rococo, a bull that weighs now 2,620 pounds, and he has a 205-day weight, 500 pounds, grades 101. And a bull that a lot of you'll like, and you like him because he is somewhat of an ideal Santa Gertrudis bull. Ladies and gentlemen, what would you give for him? How much for the bull? Will you give $5,000 to start him? Will you give $1,000, $1,250, $1,500 out, $2,000, $1,500, $2,000, $1,500 bid out, $2,000 bid out, 22 and a half, second out, $2,500, 22 and a half bid out, $2,500 anywhere with the give, $2,500 all in, all done, 22 and a half bid out, 25, 2,500, you're not 7 and a half, you're not 7 and a half, second out, $3,000, 27 and a half bid out, $3,000 anywhere with the $3,000 bid out, 2 and a half, you're not 2 and a half, second out, $3,500. 32 and a half bid out, $3,500 anywhere with the give, $3,500 anywhere with the give, $3,500 all in, all done, 32 and a half bid out, $3,500 bid out, 7 and a half, you're not 7 and a half, second out, $4,000. 37 and a half bid out, $4,000 anywhere with the give, $4,000 all in, all done, 37 and a half bid out, $4,000. 37 and a half bid out, $4,000 anywhere with the give, $4,000 all in, all done, 37 and a half bid out, $4,000 anywhere with the give, $4,000. 37 and a half bid out, 4,000, now 42 and a half. $4,000 bid out, 2 and a half, yes, 2 and a half, now 5. 42 and a half, now $4,500. 42 and a half bid out, $4,500 anywhere with the give, $4,500 now 7 and a half, here now 7 and a half, and 7 and a half, second out, $5,000. 47 and a half bid out, $5,000 anywhere with the give, $5,000 all in, all done, 47 and a half bid out, $5,000 anywhere with the give, $5,000 all in, all done, 47 and a half bid out, $5,000. 47 and a half, $5,000. 47 and a half bid out, 5,000, now 2 and a half. $5,000 bid out, 2 and a half, here now 2 and a half, here now, yes, 2 and a half, second out. $5,200 bid out, $300, yes, 3, now 5. 53, $5,500. 55, now 56. $5,500 bid out, 6 here with the give, 56 all in, all done, $5,500 bid out, 56 here with the give, 56 all in, all, yes, 6, now 7. 6 for 57. 56 now 7. 56, $5,700 anyway with the give, 60, yes, 7, now 8, yes, 8, now 6,000. 58 now $6,000. $1,500 bid now 6,000, now 1, yes, 1, now 2. 61 now 2. 62 now 3, 3, now 5. 63, 65, 65 now 66 now, yes, 7, now 68. $6,700 bid now 8, yes, 8, now 9, now 7,000. 69 now $7,000. $69 bid now $7,000 anyway with the give, $7,000 all in, all done, 68 now $7,000. 68, $7,000. $68 bid now $7,000 anyway with the give, $7,000 all in, 7. 69 now $7,000. $6,900 bid now $7,000 anyway with the give, $7,000 all in, all done, $6,900 bid now $7,000 and I. All in, all done. 69, $7,000 and I. 69, $7,000 and I. And I sold the bull.
Oh, what are you talking about, Colonel?
Josie Ranches, fine, really good home.
Slipped right up on that.
Slipped up on that one, they sure did. You know, if he's worth 69, it would look to me like he's worth 7.
As the sixth decade of the 20th century came to an end and the seventh began, more and more people were becoming aware of a special function Winrock had been fulfilling for years. Increasingly over the years, Winrock had become a meeting place for national and international leaders in every field of human inquiry.
West Virginia, you're going to be planning for the future and how to use a farm home complex such as we've got here at Winrock. For instance, over and above the sale activity, we have 150,000 to 200,000 tourists that come in here a year. Some of them are interested in cattle, many of them are not. And on top of that, we have the boathouse that you know of, and that's used by as many as 150 groups a year.
My wife and I just bought a place in West Virginia, and someday I'd like to be able to, apply the idea of conferences and getting public and private groups together to discuss, away from state government, important problems.
Well, we went back right almost to the beginning of the completion of basic Winrock Farm, and at that time, for instance, it's 10 years ago, we had a conference in Little Rock, which then moved up here, over 1,000 strong, on working on the problems of developing the Graduate Institute of Technology. It's fascinating that that 3-day conference on the development of the Graduate Institute has been the blueprint. We did the same thing with the medical center, working towards more preventive medicine. And we've had symposiums on agriculture and natural resources, and more recently on industrial and economic development, government and politics, and human resources, and then we've included such things as field as food technology, the environment, groundwater resources. These have been 2- and 3-day conferences, interspersed with, like the most recent one, where we've just had the executive committee of the National Governors Conference.
Well, I think that would be important, so that you get people feeling that they can, in a beautiful area, in a beautiful atmosphere, so they can talk frankly and not have to talk for the record, and maybe be a little bit more challenged than they would if it was a regular atmosphere.
We don't get that classroom solution approach. It's a philosophic approach that has infinite time value to it, rather than pinpointing. And I think Tom Isley and I have benefited tremendously as we've worked together on new programs of having this sort of background.
And where people can sit back and say a little bit more and think a little bit deeper than they might if it was another type of circumstance. I think that must be very important. It must have had an effect on the way you think, too. I mean, it's been helpful for them and helpful for you.
I think it's been one of the greatest tools. If I have been an innovative governor, if you will, much of it has been the result of being stimulated by these idea people who've come from all over the country.
Winrock is a home, a farm, and a common ground where ideas can be discussed, issues debated, and concepts developed for all the natural and human resources of the nation and the world. It happens every day. An uncle drives his nephew to the airport to catch a plane.
It's been wonderful to have you here, and
I love it,
good
too.
to have you, and give Sean my best.
I sure will.
And Jamie, too.
Sure will. Thanks a lot.
Have a good trip.
Okay, see you later.
On some other day, possibly tomorrow, Winthrop Rockefeller will leave from the same airport on Petit Jean as he has so many times to go out on the people's business. He once said, "I learned when a boy in New York that I would always have some special responsibility in helping others help themselves. I hope in Arkansas I have in some measure lived up to my duty and purpose."